Hey there! In this video, we're finally going to be diving into some coroutine practice in Unity with a fun challenge. We're going to be creating a cube that is continually spinning in a circle. It will stop intermittently every amount of time that you decide, and it will pause for a second, and then it will spawn a sphere that flies out and disappears after 5 seconds or so. This is going to get you some hands-on practice using coroutines. Let's dive into it. So in your scripts folder or wherever you're putting your scripts, go ahead and create a new scripting mono behavior script. And I'm going to call this spin and spawn. All right. So you will want a reference to the sphere that you're going to spawn and shoot out. So it's probably a game object reference. So using a coroutine, your first feature that you're trying to program is spinning. And you want to be spinning forever, pause after a few seconds, continue spinning. Your second behavior is anytime you pause, spawn a sphere. Yep. And this script right here, this spin and spawn script, would be attached to a cube, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and right click and create a 3D cube, and we will attach the spin and spawn script to it. Cool. There are so many ways to do this using coroutines. There's a lot of different ways that you could set it up, but one way that you might do it is a spin routine. That is a coroutine that's basically going to say while we can spin, rotate our transform. And then for your spawn routine, let's say every half a second, set can spin to false. So effectively stopping our spinning, and then instantiate a sphere, right? So this is sort of the regular language. This is a little bit more pseudo-coded out for you. The other thing that you are most likely missing is a prefab of the sphere that we're trying to spawn. So let's create a 3D sphere real quick. And on this sphere, we're going to add a script, a scripting mono behavior script. I'm going to call it wait and destroy. For this wait and destroy script, there's two behaviors that you're trying to create. One behavior is forever move forward, and you can probably just do that in update. And then the other behavior, which you should try to program using a coroutine, is wait 5 seconds and then destroy this object. And I know that there totally is a way to destroy an object without using a coroutine, but once again, the challenge of this is for you to try to use a coroutine to complete this program. Do your best to use a coroutine for that. Last bit of setup on your sphere, put the wait and destroy script on it. And then we're going to take this, I'm going to right click the assets folder and create a new folder called prefabs. I'm going to take the sphere and drag it into prefabs, and then I will delete it from the scene. So once again, on the sphere, the goal is make it forever move forward. After 5 seconds, destroy the object. On the cube, the goal is spin as long as this variable can spin is true, continually spin. Every 0.5 seconds, stop spinning, spawn a sphere. That's the whole goal. All right, if you are interested in doing this as a challenge, please pause the video right here and try your best to complete this program on your own. And at the end, you should have something that looks like this right here. But also no worries if you don't want to complete this as a challenge and you're just curious how this is done. I'm going to show you a solution for that right now. So I'm going to do the easy part, which is the wait and destroy script. It's wicked easy. We need to forever move forward. So let's bring back update. In update, we can do transform.translate and we can move forward. Let's say vector. Now this part I'm not sure about. We'll try vector3.up. We might want to change that. And typically we'll multiply that by a speed. We don't have a speed variable right now, so let's go ahead and create a private float speed, and I'll set that equal to 5. I'll serialize it just for funsies, and then we're going to multiply this by speed, and then we'll factor in time.delta time. Great. We can also factor in space if we wanted to. This part I would do let's do space.self. Now for the waiting 5 seconds and destroying this object, right? Obviously the easy way to do that, void start, is we would say destroy this game object after 5.0f. But your challenge was to do this line of code using a coroutine instead. So we're not going to use destroy like that. We are going to create a coroutine. We're going to use a private IE numerator, and we're going to give it a name like wait and destroy routine. And remember that coroutines get upset if you don't have a yield statement in there somewhere. So we're going to use a yield return a new wait for seconds, and we'll pass in 5. And then we can say destroy this dot game object. Dot game object. object. Cool. Now this coroutine is a little bit grayed out because nothing's actually calling it yet. So in start, we will say start coroutine, wait and destroy routine. There we go. And that's the script for our sphere finished. There you go. It's all zoomed out for you. Now, on our spin and spawn, this gets a little bit more complicated, but we know we need a reference to the sphere that we're spawning. So I'm going to say that is a private game object sphere. And for this one, we also do want to serialize it. So if I save and hop back into Unity, on the cube, it's looking for a sphere. So I'm going to drag in our sphere game object. And now it can use that prefab to actually spawn in. Cool. There are two coroutines that we're going to be doing forever, spinning and spawning. So let's open up start, and we would call those two coroutines from start. So let's make the first one private IE numerator spin routine and private IE numerator spawn routine. Now this one says while we can spin, rotate our transform. Like if we do a yield return null, we're just yielding nothing so that the processor doesn't get real mad at us. We would call transform.rotate, right? And maybe it's like a vector 3.forward times, typically we want a speed. So I'll do the same thing as we did for the sphere. Speed equals like 5. Can serialize the field, and then in here we will put time speed times time.delta time. Sick. Okay, the thing is, this spin routine is only going to rotate it a little bit once if we don't wrap a loop around this. So if we just put while true, this is effectively a forever loop. It will continue to rotate forever and ever and ever because true is always true. But we want to do it only while we can spin, which is controlled by the spawn routine. So every half a second, it's going to set can spin to false, instantiate a sphere, and then oops, we should set can spin back to true so that this keeps spinning again. So it pauses for a second. Maybe we'll even like make it wait a second and then go back to spawning. So this can spin is a variable that doesn't exist yet, right? The program doesn't know anything about what spinning is or whether or not it needs to stop. So let's create a private bool since it's true or false, and I'm going to call it can spin. At the beginning, it's going to be false, but let's set that to true actually. So now what we can do is we can say while can spin. So while we can spin, we'll be rotating. And now let's fill out our spawn routine, right? So let's make another while true, and we want to say every 0.5 seconds. So that means yield return a new wait for seconds 0.5f. And then we're going to set can spin equals false. And then maybe we'll wait another second, yield return new wait for seconds. We'll wait 1 second, and then can spin equals true. In between here, we want to instantiate a sphere. So we will say instantiate our sphere, and we could do it at our position, transform.position, and we don't really care about the rotation, quaternion.identity. Okay, now this isn't totally going to work. I wonder if you've spotted why it's not going to work yet. One thing that is, there we go. One reason that this may not work is, so while can spin is true, we're spinning, right? The moment it's false, and we've instantiated a sphere the first time, this coroutine is now done. Its exit condition has been met, so while can spin is no longer true, and it's gonna exit out of this coroutine. So instead of while can spin, what if we set it back to while true, and then this part is just wrapped in an if statement. If we can spin, then spin. All right, now the only thing left to do is call these from our start method. So let's start the coroutine spawn routine and start the coroutine spin routine. All right, this was kind of a lot, but let's see if this works. Wait for it to compile. Make sure that your script is attached to your cube. The sphere reference, it does have a speed, and let's hit play. Okay, and it's spinning so slowly. I'm gonna make it spin like at a speed of 100. Okay, and then the thing is, these spheres, the spheres are not rotating with us, which was not part of the challenge. Technically, this is fine. But if we want it to be what we intended, the original example, what I think we want to do real quick, instead of saying we don't care about the rotation, we actually do care about the rotation. So let's say it's this.transform.rotation. All right, I'm going to hop back in. And I liked the speed of 100. That was much better. And let's hit play. Cool. And now we have built essentially kind of like a rudimentary little cannon kind of guy. That's perfect. Yay. Hopefully this was useful to you. I mean, this kind of behavior honestly could be used as some sort of enemy or obstacle in a game that you might be making. And if you need it one last time, here is the full script, complete with random red underlines because Visual Studio decided to do that. Here is the whole code. All right, good job in this one. Yay. And I will see you in the next one.